Hey guys, it's Selena again with Selene Moon Goddess Tarot here with another pick a card reading. I thought it'd be cool to do one, kind of just came to me this morning, is a reading on like a situation where you need to know whether you should stay in a situation or let it go. It could be a situationship, a crush, long-term relationship, who knows? But, kind of like a let me know, let me go kind of situation where maybe there isn't clear communication about what stage the relationship is at. Maybe you're at a stage where you want something more committed, and the other person's not, you know, reciprocating that or even wanting to talk about that. Or maybe you're in a situation where you're the one feeling like, you know, maybe this relationship I'm in is no longer really serving me, and maybe it's time for me to move on. So I have two decks here, and I thought I'd stick with a moon kind of theme. And this is a brand new deck that I got. It's called the Blood Moon Tarot. And I'll put it on my list of decks that I own. And then this is the Amber Moon Tarot. All right. So go ahead and you can pause this screen and then go with the pile that kind of moves you, or listen to both of them. It could help you make a decision here. Now, I don't advise making lifetime decisions, like big serious decisions based on one tarot read that's meant to be for the collective. You can get a personal read if you want, which I do have. I am offering that at SeleneTarot.com. All the information's there on the site. Or just, take what resonates and meditate on it and make decisions based on what makes you happy and your highest good. And the highest good of also those that you love, like in case there's children involved and things like that. Okay. So, all right, this is going to be pile 1. This is going to be pile 2, and I will see you at your reading. All right, pile 1. Welcome to your reading here. Let's see what universe has to say about what direction you should go with in this connection. I'm really in love with this deck. It is wonderful. It's like butter to shuffle, as you can see here. Very flexible. It's nice and slick. It has this, I don't know if you can hear it, kind of like a regular deck of cards, this kind of grid print on it. So it's slippery, but it's not too slippery. And then it has this nice matte gilding here on the side, burgundy matte gilding. So, all right, let's see. All right, advice about pile 1. Should they stay in this connection? Let me know. Let me go. What is the situation here, please, Spirit? Whoa. That's kind of my... It's a new deck, so... Hold on. What should pile 1 do? Clear situation. That one popped up. The art is wonderful here, too. We got the 10 of Songs. The King of Skins, which I think Skins is Wands, and the Star. Songs, Voices, Air. I think that's Swords. I'll double check though. All right, perfect. This one turned to. Okay. Can you see them all? All right. Dreams. Dreams are swords, I think. Okay, so songs are cups. Dreams are swords. Skins are wands. All right. So it feels like this particular this connection started off really, really beautiful and really deep. With the 10 of Songs, which would be 10 of Cups, it was emotionally fulfilling. This person came into your life super passionate, like the King of Wands, ready to, seemingly able to just make your dreams come true, with the masculine energy that is charismatic, able to, some people say that he's a narcissist and a manipulator. Okay, maybe reverse, I would say yes. But it depends. It depends, I think, on the situation. He definitely is a king that will work for his highest good first, I think. Not the most benevolent king, but useful in the sense that, he's not lazy. He's going to do what needs to be done. His signs might be like I'm not saying the sign for this particular, like for wands, it could be any fire sign, but definitely I was thinking about Leo or Aries. And really, started off to be your wish fulfillment with the star. So everything that you could imagine, you felt like it was a very passionate beginning. Um, and then something changed. So I think that you perhaps started seeing some truth here with this person. A little bit less than desired situations started to kind of show themselves. With the eyes here, I think it just and then I don't know if you can see these big eyes. It's kind of like the eyeballs of those big squids. And she has all these tentacles around her. So it feels a lot like, so this is the Queen of Swords. You definitely desire to have truth in your life and desire to be as absolutely authentic as you possibly can. And that can create some issues if you're dealing with the King of Wands. Especially, the King of Wands would probably forsake being truthful to save face, for example. And I think you were disappointed because it turned out he's more like a knight of wands versus a king of wands. So more immature energy, a little bit more reckless, a little bit, not thinking clearly about decisions they make. Maybe he still parties like he's in his 20s, but he's older, or maybe is older and hasn't really gotten a focus on a career yet, or is a mama's boy or something like that. And vice versa. Like you could be a king, you could be a masculine watching this and you feel like it's, the person is a female. So gender really isn't in tarot. It's just kind of how I'm reading it here. And then we've got the Knight of Cups. So you realized that there was some disappointment here. The ten of songs turns into the Knight of Songs, which I would say would be a decrease. All right. So let's get some more. This is kind of the situation. So let's get the advice here on the bottom here. Okay. Advice about whether pile 1 should stay or go. All right. We have the 10 of Dreams. Okay. Whoa. The Hermit. Queen of Skins. Interesting. Oh, wait a minute. So now we have honey. Hold on. I'm going to double check my... Oh, honey would be earth. Got it. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so give me a second here. Let's see what universe is saying. So with the two tens here, anytime I have more than one 10, I feel like the energy has moved fast. This cycle that has taken place has moved fast. So from the ignition of that hot, passionate fire to then realizing that it was less than desirable, it's happening fast. This second round, though, is going to be a bit slower. With the 10 of Dreams, which would be the 10 of Swords. Interestingly, here the way they depict it, it has like, the butterfly, which 10 tends to be an ending. And a lot of people will relate that to like, a caterpillar to a butterfly. I do love the third eye here, though. A lot of 10 of Swords cards speak of defeat, which this speaks of changing your perspective. Allowing for the universe to get in the middle of your logical plans. Okay, so a lot of times we are super logical about love and we don't follow our heart. We immediately, it's a safe zone to just hide behind our ego and not really trust our heart when it comes to love. And we're told that, like growing up in this society, we're told to not trust our heart. We're told to, you know, go with what is logical, what, you know, go with the person that your family would love, go with the person that you can, you know, would mix well with your friends, go with the person that grandma likes. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the universe is asking you to pause, with the hermit, pause and seek insight into, number one, why did this connection come in the first place. And I know that it can be a very annoying thing to hear in a tarot reading, like pause and wait and all that bullshit. Like, believe me, I'm tired sometimes of saying it because it does come up quite often, but it's because seeking a new perspective does take time, and it asks you to think of this in a different way. Think of this as perhaps maybe this person is a stepping stone, you know, someone that's brought into your life that isn't meant to be a long-term connection, but it's meant to provoke thought and provoke maybe what you used to find very attractive and what you used to find really wonderful in your wish fulfillment no longer meets your needs. Like, you probably have had some growth here. And the universe sees it and knows it, and they need you to reflect that back out. That you're no longer the person you used to be as far as what kind of person you want a romantic relationship with. And so you need to reevaluate what that is going to be for you. Really reevaluate what is going to make you happy. You might find with this counterpart here, because we have the Queen of Skins with the King, that you're more like this king than you maybe want to realize. Maybe you've been a very stoic person. Maybe you've had to wear a lot of masks, which is interesting that this Queen of Dreams is holding a skull up like if it's a mask right there. You know, maybe you have had to hide passions of yours, not live on the edge, not be spontaneous. But deep inside, you've always desired that. And that's probably why this person was attractive to you in the first place. Because a lot of times we do attract our opposites, or we desire things in other people that either we see in ourselves or wish that we could be ourselves. So leading from the Queen of Skins, we have the Eight of Honey, which is the Eight of Pentacles. And that is about transitioning out of feverish work that you're doing. So like, you're at, you know, it's the day before you graduate, finals are all done, you're ready to go to embark on a new career, which will also be work, but the hard work is done. It's kind of like reaping what you've sown, getting the harvest together after you waited, you know, for all of the fruit to become ripe. She's got some bees here in the background, some fire under this tree. And, you know, she does not seem bothered at all that the bees are around her, and she's holding this dandelion with a bee that's on top of this dandelion. She's got some bread or some potatoes in her little satchel there. So she really is not concerned with things that might cause her harm, as long as we can exist together. It makes me feel like you can have both. You can be, you know, the Queen of Dreams, the Queen of Swords. You don't need to abandon who you are in order to pursue this connection. And perhaps you thought that whatever criticisms that you were giving this King of Skins inside of like the Knight of Skins and the Knight of Songs, perhaps were based on your old ways of thinking about relationships, and not thinking about perhaps how this King of Wands can inspire you in your own life, inspire you to be more spontaneous, to develop wanderlust and want to travel, to, you know, like one of my this woman that I love, she said that one day someone gave her advice because she was always worried about money, and the person said, you can always work and make up that money. Don't work to save money that you're never going to use. You might as well take that trip. You can make more money later and save it, because life is meant to live. Um, you know, there isn't satisfaction in hoarding and being so careful. It can lead you to feel like you're living your life in this Ten of Swords of just being trapped in a cage that has the door open. But well, for whatever worries or whatever things that you have learned in your past and your trauma, you feel restricted, like you can't sit in this Queen of Skins energy. So universe is saying, both can exist here. You can have things around you that might cause harm and not be worried about it. Um, you know, Outcomes are based. Our ego always wants to protect us with any kind of decision, and it only goes based on the experiences that we've had. Um, we don't have experiences often that cause worry for us that are good outcomes. Usually we think, oh, I'm going to get my feelings. I'm going to get so hurt if I go with this person. They're just not as responsible as I am, or they're just not as. Now, granted, there's limits, right? Like there's some people that are just atrociously immature. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a difference in lifestyle. Let's say this person, you know, will spend money on a really good concert, will spend money on going to a country that they've never been to. They will go to a party that they've never met the people there, but they figure they'll make friends. That kind of thing. I'm not talking about being elementarily, if that's a word, responsible in life, like holding down a job and all of that, paying your bills, blah blah blah. So embracing that, we have the last two cards here are the Two of Songs, and the Magician and the Ace of Honey. So I think that is where you both are going to come into alignment after you do some of this work here. Let me see, does pile one have to let go of this relationship in order for this to happen? Does pile one have to let go in order to grow? Does pile one have to let go of this connection in order to grow? All right. Okay, so we have the Seven of Honey, which is, that's the one that precedes the Eight. So this is about all of that work, being the seed in the ground, planting the roots. We have the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups. No. So you don't have to let go of this connection. You would benefit more. Okay, so you know how when you think about, there's an easy way to do things, and then there's maybe a more difficult way to do things, but might have a better outcome. I'll give you an example. So for me personally, I have a husband, and we are raising our children together in the same house. However, years ago, I asked for a divorce, and eventually, at some point, when the kids are old enough, we'll get there. But currently, it is not a romantic relationship. We hold down the household. I work. He does all the house things and deals a lot with the boys and their sports and stuff. So in the beginning, when this situation, like when I first asked for a divorce, it was a difficult time. It was like simmering in a pot that you were trapped in. I could not run away from how angry I made him by wanting a divorce, how hurt I hurt him, how upset he was with me. I had to pretend that I was, happy and everything was fine when the boys were younger. But now in retrospect, we're kind of still in our financial situation where we can't really get divorced. But we have become best friends. We have overcome the hurt, overcome the pain. We have had numerous deep conversations that have really helped us get to a point where we can appreciate each other for our new selves and not hang on to the past. And it's helped both of us transform. So, not to say this situation is that even deep, right? But you have the ability to embody, to navigate this relationship, and also do the inner work that you need to do in order to grow and become more complete. Because we have three queens here. We have the swords, the cups, and the wands. We're just missing the pentacles, which would be, a creative, more grounded queen. But, your emotional stability is going to burst open, I think. When you, and this is kind of right over the hermit, right? Taking time for yourself. It doesn't mean the connection needs to end. You can say, hey, maybe instead of going out this weekend, let's sit at home and watch a documentary that I've been wanting to see, or let's do things different. Let's say you're not somebody that likes to go out. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you say, hey, let's go do a sip and paint, or let's go bowling, or let's go do something else. So start trying to spread your wings out onto things that are not normal for you, and see how this dynamic works, and see what you learn from it. The advice is that you are going to grow from it, that you both are going to meet in the middle. Of course, this reading is not about how your person is going to grow. It's about you. So all this energy really is pointing to you, and whether you should stay or not. So I think that it seems reasonable that staying in this connection and trying to grow together with communication, that there can be great success here, and a good solid, with the Ace of Honey, a good solid fertile ground to establish a good solid relationship, built on trust and love and confidence in each other, confidence in yourself, self-love, all of that. When you look at this Ace of Honey, it's like, it seems very luxurious and decadent and sweet, with the pomegranate and honey. So keep that in mind. And you don't have to follow the advice at all here. If you feel maybe at first you need a break and then come back to it, if that's something that this king is open to doing, that's an option, right? Or maybe dial it back and say, man, we started off so hot and heavy. Like one of those dates where you have the date and sleep over and nobody ever leaves. You end up living together right away or something. Maybe dial it back and go back to the dating phase a little bit, so that you can separate a little bit, take some time out to have some self-love, love yourself, and plan about how you can expand your consciousness and expand how you view love, how you view this connection, and where you see this connection, where you would like to see this connection in the future. Okay, so I hope that helps you. All right, I am going to go ahead and leave it here. I am open for personal readings. My website is selenetarot.com. And I have a bunch of other videos on this site, so enjoy yourself. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when you get notified when I post videos. Okay? Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, pile 2. All right, you chose the Amber Moon Tarot. This is another deck that I love. I love the colors. I'm very much a red person, as you can see. I've tried other colors, but I don't know. I just keep coming back to red. I'm sure I might probably need to change up my table for the summer and make it more lively. All right, so you're in a situation, love situation perhaps, where you are trying to figure out, should you stay, should you go? So we're going to get one row here of just like what's going on in the situation with you and your person, and then advice. Okay? All right. All right. The situation with pile 2, please, Spirit. All right, so we're starting off with the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. Ace of Cups. Seven of Cups. Judgment. Okay, let's get some more. Oop, Five of Wands. All right. Let's get one more, please, Spirit. For pile 2 situation. Good Lord. Hold on. All of the cards fell. Stand by. Well, I've never had that happen before. I mean, I've had some cards fall, but not like the whole deck. So that's interesting. We'll keep that in the back of our minds to see what that could mean. It makes me think of maybe, I wonder if you've had a fight with your person. Okay. All right, let's try this again here. One more card here, please. Okay, Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so this feels like this is a situationship. Sorry to say. If it doesn't resonate, I've done other readings on this kind of subject, I think. So you can pick another reading, but this feels like there was a discovery or a for you, pile 2, from your perspective, that you met your person that you see as the King of Pentacles. You see them as a solid, wise person, somebody who is very established in the 3D world, right? So a great career, a great home, overall a very solid temperament, somebody that anybody could go to for advice, a very responsible king. You definitely have a crush on this king, and you might have told him that with the Ace of Cups here. That you might have told your king here that, hey, I kind of got the hots for you. Or you're thinking about it, one of the two. But I feel like you've told him, or there's this unsaid understanding between both of you that there is attraction here. All right. Lots of fantasy with the Seven of Cups, a lot of daydreaming, a lot of wishing and hoping. I'm wondering if there is a lack of communication here. Maybe after feelings were discussed, perhaps someone, either you walked away or your person didn't continue communicating, which leads to this fantasy world, wishing and hoping, different scenarios, daydreaming about how it would be if you guys did date, how would that work out, how would it look to other people. And I'm not sure if your person is sure, because I don't know if they really know you. You might be an intuitive person where you know them better than they know themselves, most likely. Because it seems a little random to go from the king to just the Ace of Cups, like right away. No in between, no like Empress, no romance, no card to really explain time between these two moments. Just going right into the fantasy. And my right ear is ringing. By the way, random, because I've got pretty moderate ADHD, but I heard that lately, if lately you've been feeling foggy and getting ringing in your ear, that there's a spike in a lot of solar, oh no, not solar, The vibration in the earth has peaked, or is at a peak high. Because I don't know if you know this, but the earth does actually vibrate, and it waxes and wanes, and I think right now it's at its peak. Anyway, I don't know. You could double check me and look it up, but I read something like that. All right, moving on. Sorry about that. All right, Judgment. Judgment is an interesting card because Judgment talks about needing to seek forgiveness in some kind of way. So, maybe there's some regret. I'm wondering, like, do you regret bringing up that you have a crush on him, or, whoever your person is? There's no gender in tarot. Or is there some intuition that's telling you that this person wants to come back around and apologize to you? But somewhere in this connection, there is regret happening. So there has been a wrong done to someone. With the Five of Wands, it's this kind of misguided, passionate energy. Like literally, if you could imagine, okay, 5 warriors in the middle of a coliseum, and they're supposed to fight each other, but there's no, okay, this pair goes first, and then this pair goes first. It's like everybody's thrown into the ring. So this kind of chaos is what I see here. And then it goes into the 7 of Coins, which maybe this is a work situation. And maybe that's the issue. That's why the 5 of Wands is here. There's regret and pain because perhaps this is a work connection that abruptly had to end because of the fact that it's a work situation. And you do have 2 sevens here, which, if you like numerology or looking up angel numbers, you can Google the angel number 77 to see what it means. So that's a bummer if that's your situation. Pile 2. So let's see here. I think that you really, really want to work on this connection. You feel more optimistic about it than the king does. I think the king, though he is a strong king, he is, I think, a bit narrow-minded when it comes to love. And unfortunately, with our society, those that are masculine, that subscribe to, what our current society says about being masculine, unfortunately, emotions and, reciprocating in love is not something that's really encouraged, unfortunately. Which is it's like almost like a cornerstone to a romantic relationship to be able to do that. But here we go. All right, let's see. What advice? Oh, this kind of flipped over. Oh, interesting. I'm going to leave this here. The Magician. So either it was a card that stayed flipped over or what, but it's there for a reason. So the Magician is all about taking the tools that you have in front of you and manifesting and creating something completely different. But it is a message of that everything is in you that you need in order to move forward. You might already know your answer, and you might be here just for some confirmation about what you're going to do in this situation. So let's get advice. Advice for pile 2 and their situation. Advice for pile 2, please, in this situation. Justice. Ooh. All right. Yeah, you were wronged in this situation. You deserve justice. 9 of Cups. You deserve emotional satisfaction. You deserve to be loved. 2 of Coins. That's seeking grounded balance, being balanced, which falls right underneath the fantasy card of the 7 of Cups. So move away from this limerence almost, right? Where you're just in love with the idea of love. You're not, or you're in love of the potential, and not seeing things in a more grounded way. And sometimes when we're stuck in this limerence, we we betray ourselves. We really abandon ourselves in that situation. We, abandon how we deserve to be loved. We put that aside for the hope of what this connection could be. But the reality is that you deserve justice. And whatever this king did, whether they said that they don't care about you, but they really do, or they said they care about you, but I can't do anything about it because we work together. The denial of the connection and not moving forward has nothing to do with you. It has to do with that king. It has nothing to do with you not being open to it. It has nothing to do with you not seeking insight into the matter. I'm surprised that the High Priestess isn't here, to be honest. All right, we'll see. We got some more cards to go here. Oh, we got the Empress. All right. All right. 2 more, please, Spirit, for the advice for pile 2. Okay. Princess of Wands. Interesting. So we have the Ace of Wands. So to me, it seems like you should walk away from this connection. And this is why. There are a lot of cards that point to independence for me. Justice falling under the king tells me that there needs to be an apology here. There needs to be justice for you somehow, okay? The Nine of Cups talks about being emotionally satisfied. And the trade-off for the Ace of Cups to the Nine of Cups is not equal. Meaning the forsaking your own happiness for this connection is not worth it. All right? Seeking your own happiness that's where the money's at. That's where the universe wants you to focus. And it feels like you kind of have been feeling that with this magician kind of poking out of nowhere, that something needs to change. This isn't sustainable, this limerence or having a crush on this person and really wanting to have some balance there. And again, my right ear is ringing twice. Wanting to have some balance and it not moving and moving forward. You staying stuck in this energy of stagnancy is not at all where the universe wants you to focus. You need to focus in on your own personal growth. Realize the higher calling that you have, and focus on that. And what is meant for you will come for you. What is meant for you will gravitate towards you. It will be magnetized towards you. The Empress is the 3rd card in the Major Arcana. And I think that for me, it's the embodiment of all 4 queens. So for me, it's almost like the High Priestess, except that it is not as ethereal or mystical as the High Priestess. It's a more grounded version of being a combination of all 4 queens, which would be Wands would be passionate, Cups would be emotionally balanced and sound, Swords would be intelligent and articulate and being able to logically think through complicated things. And then the Queen of Pentacles, who embodies creativity, being benevolent and giving and kind and inclusive. All of that is embodied here. And here you were just showing up as somebody with that 1 cup of love and a lot of fantasy. And I don't think that this is like, let's say, to flip it around, that you're the king talking about a relationship that you've been holding back on, because I mean, I guess it could be, but it doesn't feel that way. It really just feels like, and actually, either way, if you're the king having this crush, you still deserve justice. Because if you're the king and you've been chasing this person, you also deserve justice. That's not fair to you either. That there's something holding this back with the Seven of Pentacles. Somewhere you feel like there's a lot of work that needs to be done here, or if you, pile two, are the person that offered the cup, like this has been very arduous with the Five of Wands as well. So moving on, under the Five of Wands, we have the Ace of Wands, which is, clarity, clear passion, focused passion. So you might find something that really is rewarding to do in your life, or you might find the epiphany that you need for your passion. Be inspired to try something new in your life, a new hobby, or something that you can not just do in order to help your personal growth, but to do in order to share with the collective. And it's that energy that is the catalyst for growth. And the Princess of Swords, she's somebody at the beginning of her journey of learning and understanding about things that really were confusing before. She's somebody who has just been awakened, somebody who has just understood that there is a higher purpose, and embodies the zeal that one can have right when this awakening can happen. Maybe not understanding everything, maybe making mistakes along the way, which I encourage mistakes. I think make as many mistakes as you possibly can, because through that's where wisdom is made. That's where growth happens. Staying safe, not making any move for the sake of the unknown is almost futile in so many ways for a human, I think, anyway. A lot, I mean, think about like how we got airplanes. Like somebody thought, hey, I really love engineering, and I think it would be fantastic if we could fly. What if we had a train that could fly? What if we had something like a train, but it flew? Like somebody thought really outside of the box with that, right? I mean, and people probably called those brothers crazy. I'm sure many did. But then, sure as shit, they did it, didn't they? So it's kind of like that idea. This Queen of Swords, I'm sorry, Princess of Swords is the person having that epiphany of that idea of like, wait, what if I could just do this? Like, what if you're realizing, for example, something about your identity or your sexuality, or realizing that maybe you don't want a monogamous relationship in this journey. Maybe you want to be able to have freedom to love other people while you're in a connection. That kind of thing. So like a pivot, all right? So I'm just going to ask straightforward if you should leave this connection or not. It feels like you should. It feels stagnant to me if you held on to it, but let's just confirm here. Should pile two walk away? Well, that's a big old yes. Interesting. All right, we got the Ten of Pentacles here, which is like a yes card. This Hierophant is an interesting one, though, because this is a major arcana card, and it talks about institutions. Sometimes it could mean marriage, businesses, companies, investments, education, being a teacher. So ultimately, let me just clarify that really quick. Because what I'm leaning into is that when we were talking about someone being at the beginning of their journey of inspiration here, the mature version of that to me would be the Hierophant. But let's see. Clarify the Hierophant for the answer. Okay, I was right. I like when the universe is like, girl, you need to trust your intuition shit. All right. So, Eight of Wands, that's like fast moving energy. So, absolutely. Yeah, let it go. Yeah, it's time to let it go. To clarify, I mean, the Eight of Wands is fast moving energy, fast communication. I don't think that you need to wait for communication from this person. I think that you should just pursue loving yourself, pursue endeavors that will help you to grow, and then you can impart that on other people, and allow yourself the dignity of risk of being able to make decisions that maybe you wouldn't normally make in this energy where you were holding on to this connection. Maybe leave your job if you were planning to do that. Please don't leave your job without having one set up. I'm just saying, like thinking about a different career or going back to school, or maybe you already have something you were cooking on or considering in the background before this reading. So, all right. Well, there you go. So that's your reading, pile two. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was pretty interesting that all the cards fell out. I think I don't really have a reason why that happened. Maybe just my clumsiness. It doesn't really. But if it's something that is significant to you, that you're like, I know why those cards fell out, then please put it in the comments because I'm super curious. I would love to know. But anyway, I enjoyed this and I really wish you the best. If you enjoyed this reading or my channel, just subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get notified when readings do post. And let's see. Yeah, I'm open for personal readings. Like I said, SeleneTarot.com has all the information there. You could shoot me an email and could talk about making that happen for you, okay? I wish you the best. Take care. Bye.